watching.
Subscribe.
Hello, you're watching ScreenStalker, I'm Laurie Blake, and this is the movie news. Have yourself a super click party by hitting like, tapping subscribe, and grinding the bell icon into a fine paste. But first, a quick Game of Thrones update, and don't panic, we're not spoiling anything from last night's episode, so you could put the gun down. So put the gun down. But we will be spoiling some of the hopes of a popular fan theory for the final series, because speculation has been running wild as to how the hit HBO show will actually resolve and who will be left to sit atop the Iron Throne and rule all of Westeros. My personal theory is that there are no survivors save for a herd of Dothraki horses, which is where the inevitable My Little Pony crossover begins. But one very popular and a lot more likely theory pertains to Lady Stoneheart, the resurrected form of Catelyn Stark. You remember her? You know, Ned Stark's missus before he was benedded. You know, the one that Littlefinger wanted to live up to his name with. You know, she was a bridesmaid at the Red Wedding. A character people are hoping will finally make the jump from the page to the screen. Well, according to visual effects supervisor on Game of Thrones Joe Bauer, Lady Stoneheart will not be appearing in Season 8. Sad times. He was speaking with Huffington Post and said, "I saw it in the media, but it again never showed up in a script." Which is a shame if true, because one, she's an awesome character. She was resurrected by the Brotherhood without banners, and Stoneheart is basically Catelyn's body, but with all the vestiges of humanity purged from her system, and so she becomes this sort of undead leader of a group of outlaws. That's pretty cool. And that wasn't even the only theory that Bauer put to bed. He also told Huffington Post that ice spiders would not be appearing in Season 8, as the showrunners thought they would be better left as part of the lore that doesn't actually get seen, because zombies is far enough. He also did a little to debunk the theory that Bran Stark is actually the Night King. As many fans magic eye pictured their way into believing that the White Walkers streaming through the wall at the end of Season 7 formed the Stark family sigil as they went, kind of like the opening to the Beijing Olympics. Like his calling card is thousands of people spelling his name out with their bodies, Night King. Bauer said that the Walkers were streaming through randomly and it was just a coincidence that it looked like the Stark sigil, because you can kind of see anything if you look hard enough. I saw the face of Jesus last time I looked, and now I'm a changed man. But obviously he could be obfuscating the truth here to keep some of those spoilers under wraps, meaning that we're going to have to watch the final 5 episodes to find out what actually happens. So if you weren't going to do that anyway. From Westeros to Worsteros, as things are looking bleak for Neil Marshall's reboot of Hellboy. The film, which stars Stranger Things' David Harbour as the titular red-fisted half-demon, has had a rough time of it, shall we say, at the box office on its opening weekend. Because with a budget of $50 million going in, Hellboy, which had promised to skew closer to Mike Mignola's comic series than previous adaptations had, was expected to make somewhere in the region of $16 to $20 million on its first weekend in cinemas. Except it didn't, did it? Nowhere near. The film opened at number 3 in the US and managed to rake in only $12 million, which frankly, Hellboy should be ashamed of. Maybe he's blushing. It's hard to tell though. It doesn't help that the reboot was deemed a stinker by critics who piled in with poor review after poor review, with a particular focus on how naff the story was, leaving it with a lowly 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. And perhaps one of the other things that spelled the right hand of doom for Hellboy was a series of production woes, because a report from The Wrap revealed infighting within the production team made creating the film far harder than it needed to be. Yeah, no S, Sherlock. Now this info comes to light from insiders who didn't want to be named because they feared career repercussions for speaking out, which you can also take to mean this is very juicy stuff. Juicy, like Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently Neil Marshall had constant clashes with the producers Lawrence Gordon and Lloyd Levin over the direction the film would take, and who would actually be making it. And then things blew up like an angry Liz Sherman when Gordon and Levin reportedly fired Marshall's chosen cinematographer Sam McCurdy to send a message that Marshall may be the director, but he's not actually the one in charge. No sirree, Bob. And that was a story which prompted a response from Levin's lawyer, who said, "While my client will not comment on why Sam McCurdy was fired, as that is a private matter, be advised that it was a group decision and it had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Levin supposedly sending any kind of message to Neil Marshall." However, the firing wasn't the only damning commentary on Levin's conduct on set, as he reportedly tried to shoehorn himself in as co-director, often cutting Marshall off and giving alternate instructions to all of the actors. Marshall is also said to not even have had the final cut of the movie. The producers took the film from him when he handed in his initial cut, which suggests that they may have just made a bunch of changes to it after the fact. And to top all of that off, apparently David Harbour repeatedly walked off set when asked to do more takes by the director. Sounds like hell indeed. From Hellboy to hell yeah, I'd like some of that please and thank you, because you no doubt saw the news that Disney's major play to take over the streaming service market, Disney Plus, was announced on Friday. Now, the subscription service will launch in the US this November for a monthly cost of $6.99 and bring together the works of Pixar, Marvel and Star Wars all in one place, as well as putting that $70 billion investment into 20th Century Fox to use and hosting the first 30 seasons of The Simpsons, or as I like to call it, the slow death of a childhood hero in 30 parts. Now, to the untrained eye, Disney Plus looks a lot like Netflix. Because it looks a lot like Netflix, it's stolen the idea. But with the advantages of Disney's huge stable of licenses, and the disadvantage of having to wait up to 4 years to get some of the rights back to a lot of the content it already sold to other services. In fact, Disney Plus is not projected to be profitable for the House of Mouse until 2023. Thankfully, if anyone was ever going to have a near infinite Scrooge McDuck money pit to fall back on, it'd be Disney. And also, thankfully, propping up the service in the meantime will be a bunch of new series based on licenses Disney does actually have complete control over, including a Loki MCU TV show starring Tom Hiddleston, a High School Musical spin-off, uninspiring, called High School Musical: The Show. Cool. And a Star Wars live-action series called The Mandalorian that is being helmed by Jon Favreau. Happy freaking Hogan! And in the show, Narcos actor Pedro Pascal plays the eponymous Mandalorian, a gunslinger living on the fringes of the galaxy, and it has some serious Wild West vibes. So basically Star Wars Firefly. But perhaps most excitingly, for me at least, a Mighty Ducks series is reportedly in consideration. Quack, 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 quack. Realistically though, I'm only really into Disney Plus for the bird-based series. They've got Mighty Ducks, they've got a Falcon and Winter Soldier buddy cop deal going on too, and also Hawkeye. Variety reported last week that a solo series for Clint Barton is in the works at Marvel Studios, with Jeremy Renner signed on to reprise his role from the Avengers. Some of it will no doubt cover his S.H.I.E.L.D. past and his family life, but according to Variety, a big part of the show will be about passing the torch over to Clint's protege, Kate Bishop, who then later takes up the mantle of Hawkeye. Now, this is a story straight out of the comics, and if it's anything like Matt Fraction's amazing 2012 run on the books, then we are in for something special, bro. Especially as the Fraction series didn't feature much avenging at all, and was much more about Clint's mildly chaotic, to put it lightly, personal life, and the ill-fated attempts to save his apartment building from local mobsters. But the coolest thing about this entire series is that because it's created by Marvel Studios rather than a TV division, you can expect it to tie in extensively to the MCU. Perhaps even setting up some sort of Young Avengers movie or TV series down the line with Kate Bishop, so long as they can kind of work out how to de-age Tom Hiddleston and Loki. Disney weren't done with announcements though, because we got Disney Plus the first trailer for the next Star Wars film called The Rise of Skywalker. The trailer, which aired during the Star Wars celebration in Chicago, showed Daisy Ridley's Rey playing a game of chicken with a spaceship, Kylo Ren on a rampage, and Lando Calrissian having a wonderful time in the Millennium Falcon. Not sure if these are the important moments to pick out, I'm not really a Star Wars guy. But the trailer also revealed the return of Emperor Palpatine, with a creepy yet hearty chuckle at the very end of the trailer. Now, the reveal may seem a bit odd, because isn't he dead? But apparently it has been the plan all along to bring the Emperor back to life, because Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy told Yahoo Entertainment that this has been in the blueprint for a long time. Yeah, we had not landed on exactly how we might do that, but yes, it's always been in the works. Quite how they managed to pull off the return of this Sith is another matter entirely, but I'm sure the Force moves in mysterious enough ways to just go, oh, he's back. There he is, the Emperor there. He's back. But that wasn't the only revelation that Kathleen Kennedy came out with after the announcement of the Rise of Skywalker, as according to her, the final installment in the modern Star Wars saga won't be the end for the series at all. In fact, she told The Hollywood Reporter that we're looking at the next saga, we are not just looking at another trilogy, we're really looking at the next 10 years or more. This movie is the culmination of the Skywalker saga. It's by no means the culmination of Star Wars. In fact, already in the works is the aforementioned Mandalorian TV series, as well as a new trilogy by Rian Johnson and a second trilogy from Game of Thrones showrunners Dan Weiss and David Benioff. But to my maths, that's only 6 films, so only 6 years at the current pace of Star Wars releases. So could another trilogy be in the works to take us all the way up to that magical 10-year mark? That's only 9, so we need one standalone one. Chewbacca solo movie. Thank you for watching, and don't forget that super click party on the like, subscribe, and bell icons, and leave us a comment to answer the question of the day too. And you can head on over there to find more awesome content from ScreenStalker, including a potential story spoiler for the next Avengers saga. I've been Laurie Blake, and remember, we're watching.